If you have a desire, go do it. Because what you don't want to be doing is sitting there when it's time for you to close your eyes, wishing you went after those opportunities. Because I promise you, the things you'll think about is all the things you missed and all the things you didn't do versus making an extra 10%.
Welcome to the Contrarian Capitalist Podcast, the ultimate destination for accredited investors and entrepreneurs seeking alternative wealth building strategies. Discover how to fast-track your journey to wealth and time freedom by thinking outside the box. If you're ready to join the ranks of the Contrarian Capitalists and learn the most effective ways to reach your financial goals faster, you're in the right place. Let's get started with today's episode of the Contrarian Capitalist Podcast.
Thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of the Contrarian Capitalist Podcast. I'm your host and your favorite silverback, Sylvania Harrod. And as soon as I get the microphone to work, I'll be able to tell you a little bit about today's episode, which is we're in episode 3 of the 6-part series that I was helping you go ahead and start accelerating your path over the next 90 days so you can go ahead and make a choice of what should you be doing, what you should focus on to help you get to your next phase. Now, today's episode is going to be a little bit unique because the thing that happens as you get older is there's different moments of transition that happen. There's unique points in every phase of life. I recently had my son who went ahead and graduated from high school. So he is going through the element, as this is his last summer, that he may see most of the people that he grew up with, that he went to school with, that he goes through, because people are going to go to colleges. And then once they go to college, some will stay by, some are going to go in the military. There's so much transition that happens in that phase of life. And in the same element, I'm also at a place where it's the unfun part about getting older, which is you have parents and friends and family members that hit the moment of transition in life. And so I want to share with everybody, as I've always done. You guys know exactly, I'm transparent where I can be transparent in different moments, that as you go through these different moments of transition and as you experience this, it's the same thing no matter what's happening. I will tell you the same piece of advice. What you resist will persist. So lean into it. There's going to be moments of transition. If you're thinking about going ahead and leaving your job where you've been inside of the zoo your entire life, there are going to be moments where you hit dark nights of the soul, when you start to question everything. Because right before childbirth happens, it's chaos, y'all. It's not cupcakes and rainbows. There are going to be things and moments that you can have possibly planned for that something completely out of left field will show up for you. And how you react to it will determine the opportunity. I was chatting with one gentleman that I mentor earlier today, and he had this belief that once you make enough money, the problems kind of go away. And I just laughed, deep belly laugh. I go, brother, you just handle more problems. He goes, what? I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like CrossFit. The better you get, the worse the workouts are because you just can do them faster. And he just couldn't comprehend it. He's like, oh man, I thought you had enough money, like all your problems fade away. No, bro, you just got to deal with more. You have different things. You have different levels of responsibility. If you're going to go out and build a business, there are other human lives you're going to be directly responsible for. So if you have quite a few days of not giving a crap and don't want to do anything and you're going in through a lull, that directly impacts your ability to pay somebody else's salary. Because if you're not on, you don't have the opportunity. If you're not in a space of like showing up, like you don't work on the internal stuff, you're going to lash out at employees. And they may not understand all the things that are going in the world and the pressure and the stress you have to tolerate on a daily basis. Because they don't really know. Because in their world, just like that person I was mentoring, they think that, oh my God, you're running a business. You're running successful. You're making X amount of dollars. What kind of stress do you understand? That's the myth that they're going through in that world. And what I'm here to tell you is that if you're subscribing to the thought process of I'm not ready, I don't know if I'm going to be ready, or I'm going to have that capabilities, I'm here to tell you there's never a good time. You know, when's the best time to start a business? Yesterday. Because no matter what you go through, no matter what type of business, you can have all the right data and boom, 6 months later, you buy the company, legislation changes. So I'm here to share with you the truth is that the only constant in life is change. And your direct level of risk and handling risk is going to be exactly the direct level in correlation to the level of success you can attain, whatever your definition is. So as I'm sharing through these moments of transition, I want to give you the ugly truth of what's going to happen in those moments of transition. You're going to be in a space where you're going to be in conversations, especially, I'm going to use this for those that have spouses and have children, have other responsibilities before you choose. So I know most of my audience is right around that range. Like you're within 5 years of myself. So if you don't have children, you're going to have children soon, or you just had children. You're more than likely married in some element. So let me give you the harsh truth. Your significant other is used to a certain definition of you. They're used to a certain level of security from you. And anytime that gets disrupted at times, there's going to be natural tension. This happens in every single entrepreneur's life at some moment or time. Because what happens is you have to consistently rebuild yourself, time in and time out. Because you're going to move from a space of caring about oneself and your family to caring about other people's families, even if you're a solopreneur, because you're reliant on delivering some type of service or good. Doesn't matter if you're flipping houses, or if you're delivering websites, or you're just building large business and working in PE like I do. You're going to be responsible for other people's lives. So if that's the case, because really, in order to get the most leverage, you got to build something that has other employees that are able to operate when you're not operating, especially when in tomorrow's year of what's going to happen with AI. And so as you're consistently rebuilding yourself, there's going to be moments where you're going to be on an island. If you worked in a corporate environment, especially for larger companies, there's hundreds of people you can go have conversations with and to discuss what you're talking about. All of a sudden, that'll go to zero. You're going to be in places, if you're working from home or if you have a physical location, where everybody's going to be looking up to you. And one of the things I learned in the military is that if they don't have the same pay grade or below, like if they're an equal pay grade and above, have conversations with them. If they're a pay grade below you, don't relay your stresses, because they honestly don't care. And as you're going through that experience, if you're used to having the stimulation of what happens in a corporate environment, you're going to have moments where you're going to get really, really lonely and really, really upset. And if you are not taking care of oneself, it'll catch up to you eventually. It will. You're going to realize that like weight gain has been there. Your health is going to take a back burner. Lack of sleep is going to be there. Friends that you used to have conversations with, you can no longer connect with because they don't understand. You're in the jungle, not in the zoo anymore. And then you're going to hit a certain moment and point where you go, if you're willing to consistently lean in and you start getting a little bit of success, you'll start that corporate stink of thinking that this is the only way, it's going to leave you. Because you're going to realize that like the only thing I can really rely on is the thoughts between my two ears. And man, is the mind crazy. And then you're going to hit a point where the people you could connect with and the things you could talk about, you can't really connect on anymore. This is why I harp on having community. Because when you're out in the jungle and you're facing battles every day that people cannot comprehend, especially if you're first generation, second generation, not so bad, because you at least have some type of guidance of people you can call. But when you're building this for the first time, you got to figure out all the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows. And through those moments, you're going to be frustrated. And then you're going to hit a certain desire where you're like, why doesn't everybody want this level of freedom? And then hopefully you mature enough to recognize that people are exactly where they are in life, because we just live in the residuals of our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And so when I think about the I'm not ready myth, man, oh man, it doesn't matter what you do. You can prepare for all these things. It's not going to make it any easier. There's a couple things that I've learned, because I'm a probability guy, that's going to give you greater probability of success. Those three things are: one, have a guide. Have someone that you can pick up the phone and they have been through the journey you're about to go through. They can help you understand the things you're working on. They can help you comprehend the amazing journey you're going to experience in life, and definitely the valleys, because there's a lot of damn valleys, but they're there with you into the peaks too. They're going to understand those things. Number two, you've got to make sure you have people in the foxhole doing the things you're doing. You want to have them, and you want to have them because it helps you get to a point where you realize you're not alone. There's other people experiencing the same things. For many moons, I was on an island by myself. As human beings, we're not meant to be alone. So as you have that opportunity, make sure you have a community, make sure you have a guide. And the third and most important thing, please, please, please take care of your health. So many times you'll realize this thing called boundaries becomes like a curse word for entrepreneurs. It does. Becomes a curse word because you think that you can work more, and the more you work, the more you're going to be able to do things. That works for a season or two. Then eventually you're going to hit a wall if you are not eating, sleeping, training, doing the things you need. You need to make sure you're working with somebody that can help you even on your mental, because your mental has to be strong. You're climbing up a mountain pass that very few are willing to do. And on the other side of that is the dream desire that you want. And that's why I've always set those tools in place. And those that don't have that, I just watch them get stuck on this hamster wheel, y'all, where they're like, almost there, then go right back. And then circle, and then circle, and circle. That's why I harp on those things. But the reality is that like you're never really going to be ready. And you just get comfortable with just being uncomfortable and not knowing what's going to happen or what's going to do. But you just develop a framework for yourself of how you want to show up. Because if I live in the residuals of my thoughts and beliefs and actions, that means that I have the possibility of influencing my future by bettering my thoughts. Not to a point of toxic positivity, though, because I get it, but those are a lot of times dreamers. And dreamers are not executioners. Dreamers sit there and they just spend time just mentally masturbating about, oh my God, I can do all these things, and I can make all this money, and I can do this because one person did it. And I find out once I start researching more and more that like there were other components that made that happen, but the probability of increasing my odds, it's based upon the things that I share with you guys on a day-by-day basis. So the thing I want to tell you about it is that there's so many people, especially if you've ever been in leadership, people come up, they show you, they tell you, I'm going to be the best person in the world. And then a year from now, they're sitting there sucking wind because they don't have any process. They don't have anything that's going to sustain them for certain levels of success. Don't believe me? Google a guy by the name of Tim Grover. Some of the best athletes that ever existed all have coaches. They all have people that work with them on development and refining their skill. That's the basis of excellence, is constant refinement of one's skill. So I want all you guys to know this, that my core desire for you is to be at a place where you are living your ideal lives, guys. Because what's the point of doing it? What's the point of chasing it just so we can make 10% more? So I can go talk to somebody about, I made 10% more of all my efforts so you can feel good about yourself? The reality is nobody cares. The people you love care about you and want you to be around. And so maybe today's message punches you in the stomach a little bit. Maybe it doesn't. But I'll tell you, if you have a desire, go do it. Because what you don't want to be doing is sitting there when it's time for you to close your eyes, wishing you went after those opportunities. Because I promise you, the things you'll think about is all the things you missed and all the things you didn't do versus making an extra 10%. As always, guys, stay hungry, stay humble, and stay grateful. And until the next episode, cheers.